Hey guys, this is LaRosa with Trailblazing Tech. In my last video, I walked you through how to set up challenges and webinars using HighLevel. And I really like this webinar and challenge setup because it makes it really easy to streamline your process and everything works in a single workflow. But after I recorded that video, one of the things that I realized is that it can be a little convoluted the way that I set this up because there are multiple set event start times throughout this workflow. And it works well because you can know exactly when each email is going out because you're setting the time, the date and time for each of those events. But what if you just want to streamline things so that you only have to change that date once whenever you're updating this workflow to do a new challenge or webinar? Well, that's what I want to walk you through in this video because it is possible. So let's jump over to my computer and let's get started. All right, so what you see here is the workflow that I had before, and I'll just quickly walk you through it. So let's say that we had a webinar that we were running on July 29th at 12 p.m. Everything is based off of that. So we have our welcome email sent, we're tagging them, and then we have our follow-up email sequence. So our first email is getting sent out on July 23rd, which is a Tuesday, like the Tuesday before the 29th. So the 29th is on a Monday. So we're sending this email out at 4 p.m. We're waiting until that time before that email gets sent. And then we have the next email going out on the 26th, 3 days later on a Friday. And then we have another email going out on the 28th, so the day before at 4 p.m. And then we have one more going out starting the hour before, so July 29th, 11 a.m. Just reminding them, hey, the webinar starts in an hour. And then we have our follow-up emails. So I only did one follow-up email in this sequence, but you can kind of see how things are going. Like you got your replay email and then you got your next email following up after that. So like our replay goes out at 5 p.m. So 5 hours after the start time of our webinar. And then we have the follow-up email going out like the following day at 4 p.m. So let's walk you through how we would set this up to remove all of these follow-up dates. So the first thing we want to do is come all the way back up here to the top. And we're only going to have one set event start time. And we're going to set this to July 29th, 12 p.m. And that is our webinar start time. So we're going to change this to say webinar start time. And then we can come over here. We can remove this action. So set this, remove this one. Yes, we want to delete. And now we just have our wait step. So for this one, we do want to wait, and we have our wait and our wait here. So our keep warm email 1. So we had this set for the 23rd at 4 p.m. So the thing that we can do here is we can go instead of, so we have our event appointment time. Now instead of waiting for the exact time, we can do before and then set the amount of time beforehand. Now one of the things that's difficult about this is you need to do the date and time calculations to get the exact number of days, hours, minutes beforehand. But the nice thing is, if you set this up once, you only have to do it once. And all you have to do is then come in here and just change the webinar start time, and then everything else will follow accordingly. So let's say we want to figure out the time, so July 23rd, 4 p.m. So come over here to a website like this, like Calculator Soup, and I'll put the link for this website in the description. And you just put in your start time and then your end time. So the end time would be when our webinar is going to be, and then the time that we want our email to go out. So July 23rd, 4 p.m. Our webinar is 29th at 12 p.m. Calculate. So we have 5 days, 20 hours. So then we come back over here. We do 5 days and 20 hours before. So 5 days, 20 hours before, which is going to be the 23rd at 4 p.m. That's when this email will go out. So you can save that action. And then we come here and do that for all the following ones. So then we can go here for our keep warm email number 2. That was 3 days later. So then we go before. So 5 days. So then we do 2 days, 20 hours. And then we have this one here, which was the 28th at 4 p.m. So then we come over here 28th at 4 p.m. This is only 20 hours. So we can delete this. Change this to before. 20 hours. Save. Then we can remove this one. And then for this one, it's sending an hour before. So this one's really easy. Just 1 hour before. And then we do our follow-ups. So then our follow-ups are going to work in the opposite direction. So then we delete. So we see this one goes out at 5 p.m. So that'll be 5 hours later. So delete this. Come over here. So after. And then this would be 5 hours after. Save. And then this one is 4 p.m. So this would be 1 day and 4 hours later. So then we delete this. Change this to after. 1 day, 4 hours. Boom, we're done. So now we've simplified this. We've gotten rid of all those set times. And now we just have our webinar start time. And then we just have each of our dates based off this time. So the nice thing about this is now whenever I want to update my webinar, let's say I want to run it on a different date. So let's say like a month from now, like July 26th, all I have to do, come in here, change the date, and then everything else is going to follow accordingly, following the same timeline. So that first email is going to go out the Tuesday before, then the Friday before, the Sunday before, and then 5 hours after, and then the day after at 4 p.m. And then I've only changed the date once. So that's a great tip that I wanted to share with you to streamline things even further, to make your process a little simple. So again, the only complicated step is having to use the date time calculator when you're setting things up, but it's a little bit more work beforehand in terms of setting things up. But in the long run, in the future, if you're going to be reusing this multiple times, this will save you a lot of time in the long run because you only have to change the date once instead of having to change it in multiple places. So I hope that helps you, and happy programming, happy automating in your business. And again, if you have any questions, need help with any of this, leave a comment below, hit me up, and I'd be glad to help you out. So until next time, peace.